Hello. This is Elizabeth Griffin, the Black Romance Writer, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, if you're not following me, please take a moment and do so. And definitely hit the notification bell so that anytime, and I do mean anytime, that I upload a video, you will be the first to know about it. Today, we are going to talk about how to write a sexy scene. This topic was written about by Thea Devine, and you can find the entire article or chapter in How to Write a Romance for the New Market and Get It Published by Catherine Folk. Thea Devine begins her chapter by saying this: writing about sex is hot, hard, and sweaty work, and writing about it, or in doing it, the secret to good sex is conflict, motivation, tension, and explosion. Do you believe these words? Do you believe the intro to this article? I think sex, good sex, is definitely made more enjoyable and more believable when you, the reader, are invested in the characters, and when you, the writer, are invested in developing three-dimensional, complex human beings and telling their love story and showing how they meet, fall in love, have all types of confusion and tension, and then at the end have their happily ever after or their happy for now. Thea Devine goes on to say that romances as we write them today contain a certain structure or framework, as I prefer to call it. A, get the characters together. B, define the conflict that pushes them apart. And C, give them baggage to create complications. Then add this crucial component: an oppositeness, a polarity, a contradiction between them that will spark like flint on stone. Immovable object versus irresistible force. The thing I call pull-tug. She pulls one way, he tugs the other. They are going the same way in opposite directions. This wonderful defining device serves the characterization, the story, and the sex. This contradiction feeds the movement of the story, the conflict, the motivation, and the character's reaction to each other. In essence, they sniff around each other for the length of the book. And when they finally come together, they are Adam and Eve, the only people in the world who ever discovered sex. I do believe in opposites attract, and I do believe that will create a type of tension. If you have a person that is extremely neat and a person that is sloppy, like in The Odd Couple, you will have certain moments where they are pushing and pulling against each other because they don't see things in the same light. And you can explore that tension in all kinds of ways. As I said, in opposites attract, or The Odd Couple, or the person that is very neat dealing with a person that is sloppy, that can be very entertaining. For those of you who may have watched Grey's Anatomy in the first and second season, and you are familiar with Burt Preston and Christina, you will know that Christina was extremely sloppy and that she was the type of woman, she was beautiful at her job. She was a beautiful surgeon, talented, but her personal life was a mess. And she was the type of woman that would buy new underwear every day because she didn't have the time to wash and do laundry. Whereas Bert was very neat and very orderly, and he had a way of, in his personal life, he had a collection of music. I believe they were CDs, and he had them alphabetized, and he used the library old filing system. And so you got to see a lot of comedic moments between the two, because when Burke Preston first went to her apartment, it was a mess. There were clothes strewn all over the place. You couldn't even see the floor. It was a hot mess. But you got to see another side of Christina. You got to see that she was a beautiful, brilliant surgeon. But as far as housekeeping and that type of cleanliness, she was not good. So I do agree with this author that you need tension. And one way to encourage or foster tension is by having opposites attract. I do also believe that you could have personality traits that will offer a opposite type of effect. You could have someone that is very introverted and very shy, and yet they are attracted to someone who's an extrovert. Now, how are these two people going to get along? Because they are obviously opposites in this respect. And that would make for an interesting read. And you may wonder, how is the sex going to be? Because she could be inhibited and shy, where he is an extrovert and willing to try and do different things. And encouraging her to participate in the type of sexual activity he likes can create a very sexy read. The author of this article, Thea Devine, also says you want to make your love scenes as intimate as possible. Use pronouns. No one will forget who is making love. Don't use negative visual images. She is not on fire. He does not impale her with his molten rod. Oh, wow. I haven't seen that type of writing in a while, where they use certain words to describe the sexual body parts of the opposite sex. The author goes on to say, show all facets of their sensuality, what they do for each other as well as to each other, and not necessarily during sex. Whenever I'm writing a love scene, I like to use or think of the five senses. And when I create these scenes, I'm thinking about, what do my characters see? What do they feel? What do they smell? What do they taste? And what do they hear? And if I keep these five senses in mind at all times, I can create a scene that the reader can hear, feel, see, taste, and smell. So I suggest that as you write your scenes, keep these things in mind. And when you're writing your story in general, think about all the things that are going on around you. The visual, the audio, the smell, or the oral factor, I think you say. Keep of all those things in mind when you're writing. Thea Devine also says, make your heroine active. Things don't happen to her. They happen because she wants them to. The reader must always feel the heroine has some control and that she is a participant and not an object. Find new ways to express and articulate what your characters are doing in bed. Don't resort to the cliche phrasing or describe the act bluntly. Although sometimes being crude and bold can have its effect, depending on what type of love scene you're writing. If you're writing erotica, you may want to be a little bold and direct and descriptive in that sense. When you're writing these sexy scenes, focus on foreplay. You have to dig into yourself and imagine what it looks like and feels like. Then describe it. Thea Devine suggests that the way you write sex scenes comes out of who you are and what turns you on, what you like to do, to watch, to try, and what you fantasize about, what you see on TV, in the movies, or in magazines. These, I do think, are good factual points. We do write what we like to see and experience. And we do write about our private fantasies. And you can use all of these to create memorable love scenes in your stories. But the key to tapping into this is to not inhibit yourself. Write freely. Don't censor what you want to put on paper. Just flow and let it come out of you. And that way you may get something original, unique, and you hadn't thought of. So do not inhibit yourself when you write, because the only person that is privy to your writing at this moment is you. So you can be very free about your thoughts, about what you see, about what you think, and about what you desire in a sexual theme. Now, I find the author's final comments interesting and a different perspective. She says, finally, it occurs to me that the book itself is a sex act. You have endless foreplay, climax after climax, and in the end, real satisfaction. And you, the author, it is your job to seduce your reader through this act, using great protagonists, a page-turning story, and most importantly, well-written, well-motivated, heart-stopping sex. Now I ask you, do you agree with this author, Thea Devine? Do you think that her advice is useful? If so, please leave comments below and let me know what you think of this particular chapter in the book, How to Write a Romance for the New Market and Get It Published by Catherine Falk. And I would definitely, as I said, love to hear your take on this. And don't forget to support me by buying my audiobooks, which are available everywhere. You can find them on Spotify, Audible, Hoopla, you name it, and I'm there. And if you don't particularly enjoy audiobooks, I also have a catalog of ebooks. So again, I thank you for your time, your patience, and your support. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up and a like and a comment. And until next time, I'm wishing you happy writing and happy Valentine's Day. And take care. Bye-bye.